Hey folks, on the topic of healing eczema and good digestion, we have to talk about bowel movements. It's an essential part of healing eczema, so if you're not ready to heal yet, you don't want to hear about bowel movements, then click away from this video now. In many areas of health, things that are described as normal should really only be described as common. For example, some people only have one bowel movement a day or maybe even one every few days and they think that this is normal. So I mentioned to people about eating 6 to 10 bananas in a single meal and they make a comment like, I'd be on the toilet constantly. So I suppose compared to the infrequent bowel movement regime that they used to, then yeah, going twice or even 3 times a day may seem like a lot, but look at a baby. A baby will have a meal and then 20 minutes later it will have a bowel movement. That's how we are born into this world. So that should be how we continue to digest food efficiently like that. It goes through the system quickly and then a bowel movement is followed up pretty soon after the meal. I know I'm always going back to the car as an example, but think about the exhaust gases in a car. You wouldn't store those up for a few days in some kind of a tank and then only get rid of them every now and again because they could start causing problems. They could leak out, they could poison you in some way. And the same goes for if you're storing waste unnecessarily long inside your colon. There's a lot of disease that's linked to the colon. If you search for cancer begins in the colon or death begins in the colon, something like that, and you'll find that a lot of it is about feces, toxic waste that's stored in the colon for too long and is being reabsorbed by the body. In pretty much all developed countries, the government will advocate a certain amount of macro and micronutrients that people should be consuming each day. However, most of them, or in fact all of them, really underspecify the amount of dietary fibre that we should be consuming from fruit and vegetables. The reason they do this is usually because of some economic financial link with the meat and dairy industry, but that's a whole other video that we won't get into right now. Here in the UK, we're encouraged to eat 5 portions of fruit and veg per day. One portion consists of 80 grams of, say, a handful of grapes or maybe a handful of green beans or something. But the problem with that is it all adds up to not a whole lot of calories. So people end up getting the remainder of their calories from meat, dairy, eggs, processed foods, generally low fibre foods. If the government truly wanted to promote health for the country, they would up that recommendation to more like 20 portions of fruit and veg per day, which would leave much less space for low fibre foods like meat, dairy and eggs. But of course, it's the meat, dairy, egg industries that are propping up the economy of this country, and the government knows that, so they have to continue that relationship. If the government did promote a healthier diet of more fruits and vegetables and more fibre containing foods, the disease will go down as well. So things like heart disease, cancer, diabetes, these Western killers would reduce. And that's also harmful to the economy in the short term because the drugs industries make a lot of money from these diseases. So it's actually not in the best interests of the government to promote a healthier diet. The key point is here, most of us need to reconsider what we think of as poor digestion, what we think of as constipation. If you didn't go to the bathroom yesterday, if you didn't have a number 2 yesterday, there's something wrong with your digestion. Maybe you didn't eat right. If you did eat right yesterday, then stay consistent with that diet and good digestion, a good regime of bowel movements will return.